Hi, Michael and Donald. How are you?
Hi,
Hi,
Leora.
Leora. Absolutely fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely. So, congratulations on this epic and cinematic show. I think people of all ages are really going to watch and love it and watch it together. So, for both of you, tell me about collaborating with each other and what you liked best about it.
Donald, you start.
Well, okay, great. I mean, for me as a producer, to work with Michael Hurst is an extraordinary opportunity. I'd never worked with Michael before. He's a one of a kind, obviously, in the brilliance of his writing, but also that he is a one-man band. Um, Michael writes everything himself. I've worked on other series, and it's always been a writer's room and a team of writers. Michael does it all. It's really something that's extraordinary. I've never experienced that before. So that was really, for me, going to school in a sense to watch how he does it and to work with him alongside him. It was a great learning experience for me. And just obviously his take on Billy the Kid and creating this character that people are going to see a side that they've never seen or known about Billy the Kid. It's a very exciting journey.
And I'd say that Donald is a wonderful and an experienced producer who knows how to work with and get together a great team, who's very empathetic, who understands, lunatics like me, and treats me quite gently on the whole, which I'm really appreciative of, obviously, because writers are, deranged mainly and extremely sensitive, of course, and I have to say to you that this production was one of the most creative, if not the most creative and happy productions in my career. And I'm sure Donald's heard back from people, but a lot of the actors and some of the experienced actors wrote to me personally and said they've never been so well treated on a set among so many committed and happy people, and which is, from a writer's point of view, it's absolutely wonderful to hear. And it does pay off, because people who enjoy what they're doing tend to do better. Their performances tend to be better.
Yes.
But what a team. It's not, there was no studio here. Everything was on location. It's hard, it's hard and it has to be fast, but we had a great director in Otto Bathurst, great team. And we pulled it off, mainly thanks to Donald.
Thanks to you, Michael, but thank you. Generously.
So, Michael, tell me about your research process. A lot of research went into this. I love the moments where you brought in characters like Pat Garrett and Frank Baker, and then the big naming Billy the Kid scene that comes later on, I think in episode 6. I don't know, Jesse, of course. So tell me about your research process.
Well, I think it's like a process of initially demythologizing. There are cliches about Billy. Everyone thinks they know things about Billy, and most people think he was probably a psychopathic killer or something, a bit rough around the edges. And so I wanted to know a lot more about who he really was. You'd think that there's a huge amount written about Billy, but if you compare it to what's written about the Beatles, so you would say that, there's very little actually written about Billy. Nevertheless, there's a kind of different accounts, and some of the accounts are written by historians in inverted commas, but other accounts are written by people who actually knew Billy. And you can't always trust those, because Pat Garrett himself wrote a very self-serving account of his role in Billy's life and death. But there are other people whose books I came across that I read them, and I felt that they were giving me some truth. I felt that a picture of Billy himself, the real Billy, was beginning to emerge. And that's how I work, actually. I go into this research. I have a very academic background, so I like scrabbling around amongst old books, basically. But, I have an open mind, and I let the storylines and the characters emerge from the research. And I'm not ready to write until I have a fairly firm idea about the characters, even though beyond that, you're then on a journey with them. because you find out more things about them, and many contradictions perhaps, but also when the actors begin to embody them, you learn things in that way too. So it's a process, and it actually, that process goes through to editing. You can edit something that changes the whole way an audience will perceive a character. But I love all that. I love it. That's why I write things based on historical material, because I love, for me, the modern world is a buzzing, booming chaos, but I can understand the past a bit more.
And so tell me about the casting of Tom, about why he was perfect to embody the role.
Well, we spread our net far and wide. I think we looked at about 400 possible candidates. Tom was pretty early into the ring. He was obviously young and pretty inexperienced. He'd just come out of Donald had just come out. Yeah,
he
that's
went
right.
To Juilliard.
Just a year earlier.
Yeah.
He threw his hat in the ring and said that he felt an empathy for Billy, even though he's English, like me. But I had to test that, and there was a sort of superficial ways of testing it, which was like, Billy had this beautiful singing voice and could play musical instruments. And the next day, Tom sent me a tape of him singing and playing a guitar beautifully. Yeah, that's one thing. It's another thing to be on screen and keep your attention and be mesmerizing. And for an audience, I mean, Billy's in just about every scene. So you need to be attracted to this guy. And I think Tom, of course, he looks like Billy, which doesn't hurt. But more than that, much more than that, he has such presence on screen. And you see his emotional life in his eyes. You're thoroughly engaged and you believe in him.
And Tom is mature beyond his years, as Billy was. Really, he's incredibly smart, intelligent, and intuitive. Very thoughtful, and that all comes across and creates a fascinating character with a lot of complexity.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I love the scenes where he's singing and then he's playing the guitar and playing the violin. There's some beautiful scenes. Yeah.
Who knew Billy the Kid did that? I mean, that's the thing. So as I said before, so I start with demythologizing, but then because I love the character, I love America. I build a new mythology that's actually based on the real Billy, but he's worth mythologizing. I mean, isn't it extraordinary that a young man who reputedly died at the age of 21, 22, in the middle of the 19th century, in the middle of nowhere, is still one of the most famous people in Western history? Isn't that extraordinary?
Yeah. So what have the two of you been watching lately that you've been really into?
Donald, what have you been watching? I'm going to have to think about this.
Oh, gosh. I don't know. I started watching season 2 of Bridgerton. My sister made me. No, it's really enjoyable. It's fun. That's the last thing I was watching over the weekend.
I don't tend to watch very, very much, actually, and certainly nothing that I might be influenced by. So I tend to watch like sport more than I watch drama, actually.
It's interesting. Well, on behalf of a lot of people, thank you, Michael, for Vikings and the Tudors, and Donald, thank you amongst many others for Burlesque and Pain and Gain, two of my favorites. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you both so much for this show. I really appreciate it. Have a lovely day. Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Leora. Nice to meet you. Okay,
you
bye.
as well.
Bye.
Bye.